My parents moved to Ackworth area in 1953 on some land that my grandfather had owned, or still owned. It was a large farm, and a lot of it was taken when they did Lake Altoona. It was a floodplain, and they took a lot of the land, but still plenty to farm on. And my grandparents were farmers. I remember when I was a young fella, my grandfather's grocery list was coffee and sugar. Everything else he grew on the farm. Yeah. And I'll never forget the aroma of a smokehouse. I remember that. Yeah. We lived out there, County Line Road, but we came into town for school, and we came into town for church and shop, and Ackworth was home. T.C. Cantrell was the principal, and he had children in the school system whom we knew and still have contact with from time to time. Before that was Paul Sprayberry. Paul Sprayberry was the principal of the school, and then he went on into administration and served as county school superintendent in Sprayberry High School in Marietta is named for him. Then Joe Hayes came. Mr. Hayes was a remarkable man. He recruited a lot of teachers from Alabama. He was from Alabama, I think. And a lot of his faculty came from Alabama, and it was a marvelous time to be at Ackworth. He had a great school, a great faculty, and some of those teachers I still stay in contact with. One of the constant teachers was the basketball coach also, Bill Blocker. Bill Blocker also worked at the post office, but he was a seventh grade science teacher and a remarkable man. But of course, my parents put me in church. We were there every Sunday, no matter what. We were always there in church. And that was our social community as well for a large part of our lives. But the people of the church at Ackworth, warm and encouraging. And I spent 47 years in every church that I was in trying to recreate that atmosphere that was at Ackworth. I owe that church a great deal. Little League Baseball started here in 1960. And my father was one of those who got it going. It was...
Oh, really? Not before 1960?
No. It was. I mean, there were little teams and leagues and whatnot,
but
official Little League Baseball started in 1960. And my father was one of those who was instrumental in bringing it here.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Johnny Scroggs, who had a history in Ackworth and had played some pro ball. He had asthma, and that prevented him from going much farther along the way. But a good athlete, he was good with kids, and he taught baseball. He taught you how to play. We the first year we were a little mediocre team, but we were young, and the next year we won 18 games and didn't lose any. And when he died, I went up to the funeral home, and they had slides of pictures of the year, and that team was one of the slides, the little team that won 18 games. And some of those I still stay in contact with. Barry Davis is here in town, and Barry's been in city government, and he's a community leader. And Barry was on that team, and some others as well.
Wow.
Roy Fowler was on that team, and Roy ran Cobb County Water Department for a few years. So we had a good time. And I tell people I was a pretty good player until they started throwing curveballs, and then I decided I better do something else. Hubert Allen was an enthusiastic vendor, and we would every year we would walk through, and Allen's was a great place to go. Every toy in the world was there. It's where Henry's restaurant is now. You know, it's the divided restaurant. One side was household goods that we didn't care about at all, and the other side was all the toys and things. And Hubert Allen, Mr. Allen, would tell my dad every year, Paul, these boys need big bicycles this year. They need big bicycles. And I don't know what we had, but we were always on his side. We were hoping Daddy was listening, that he could talk to Santa Claus and we'd get the big bicycles. But yeah, Allen's was a great place. Right after we came here, my wife had met some people, and one morning she's getting ready, and I said, where are you going? She said, I'm going up to Ackworth to eat lunch. You don't go to Ackworth to eat lunch. And we never, I mean, there was a Tasty Freeze in Johnson's, and that was it. I said, going to the Tasty Freeze or Johnson's? Where you go? I had no idea what had happened to Ackworth. I'd driven through, passed through, but hadn't really appreciated what had happened in Ackworth. And it's a destination place. It had become that. And she knew that before I did. The changes are remarkable. And I have no idea if the town has been able to retain that small town ambiance. I don't know. I still look at the city councils and people like that, and the mayor, Tommy Allgood. I know that Butch Price is on the council. Some of those people were formative for me and would be able to do that. I suspect Allgood has been able to maintain a lot of that. I suspect that he has. He's a brilliant man.